the empty cottonwood. Well, day where the children cry. Well, day where our grandmothers long for home. Take me home to the sacred mountains, land where the holy ones can hear my prayers. Hey, ah-ho, hey, nah-hee-oh. We stood by the lawn.
I watched him grow and develop, and his work had a certain sophistication that I didn't see in other sculptors' work, particularly those who work in stone. His work could be very stylized and very rich and very sophisticated. And I see not only the detail, which to me is remarkable that he can get in stone. I don't know how he does it. The look that he gets on people's faces is very believable. It's very refined. And of course, his knowledge of Native American culture and their ceremonies and so forth, I think it reflects in his work, his natural knowledge of his own heritage.
Hey, ah-ho, hey, nah-hee-oh.
As early as I can remember being involved in art is probably my father. He'd always be drawing, and my mother tells a story that somewhere at the age of 2 to 3 years old, in order to keep me quiet, they used to hand me a book or a notebook, and my father used to do little drawings, and I tried to copy it. And that was my source of keeping busy, and I developed that habit. I'd always be drawing anything, you know, you draw wagons, cars, houses, all these different things. And one of the things that intrigued me all the time walking in the hills was just picking up different types of stone. I didn't know at the time, but geological formation of where we lived, it was once in a volcanic plain. And so there's all these different type of stones, and little that I know is going to become a sculptor.
Before sunrise we stand, with prayer and corn pollen wait. Bluebirds and rain will come again. The singing way will heal our hearts. Take me home to the sacred mountains, land where the holy ones can hear my prayers. Hey, ah-ho, hey, nah-hee-oh. Hey, ah-ho, hey, nah-hee-oh. Hey, ah, hey, ah, hey, hey, nah-hee-oh.
When I met Oreland, it was his work that drew my attention, because Oreland is a very quiet person. It takes a while to get to know Oreland, and I was taken by his demeanor, and I thought that the man had a good, strong character, and there was a quality about Oreland that appealed to me, and I felt that this man had the potential to be a great sculptor.
When he was just out of high school, he traveled with a dance troupe to Europe to perform, and In the evenings they would perform, and then in the daytime he would go to the different museums and see all the really great master artists.
And while he was there, he was very smart by doing this, and he must have had a vision or an old soul or something, but he studied sculpturing over there.
When I came home 6 weeks later, it was a whole different world. I realized what I needed to be, what I wanted, and I started pursuing my art career.
After he got out of high school, he started doing sand paintings. I thought that he should get out of sand painting because that was not going to take him very far. And he came to me one day. He was working for the school district as an illustrator for textbooks. And he came over one day and he said, "I'd like to do something else." I said, "Well, Oreland, I really like to do sculpture the best. And I really think you would really be good at doing sculpture."
One day the printer at the shop was throwing out some wax, and I said, what are you doing? He says, "I'm throwing this all away." I mean, there were just thick pieces of it, kind of an almond yellow color, and I said, "Can I have some?" And so that day something happened. I took it home, I molded it, and it was just natural. It was faster than painting because my hands just went to it. It was three-dimensional, and my hands just whipped out a little eagle head out of wax, and I can't remember something else. And I thought, well, let me show these to my art teacher. So the following Monday, I took them to my old high school art teacher, and she put her hand up to her chin and kind of gave me that kind of a look. And she says, "Do you know about this stone? It's called gypsum alabaster." I said, "No, I never heard about it."
And he said, "Well, how do I get started?" I said, "Well, I hear they have some alabaster down around Hamus, and you can pick it up." I said, "You might go down and find you a piece and see what you can do with it." Well, it was really crummy alabaster.
So she gave me those 3 stones. I took them home, and I remember I carved all 3 in 1 week. And the whole time I was carving, I remembered what I saw in France in 1978 on my dancing trip there.
And he started doing really good sculptures, and they did nothing but get better.
It was like a fireball that you let loose. Like my confidence was there, my ability to create, I didn't doubt.
He has done so much on his own to be what he is. And I love the shapes. I love the way he can give life to a piece of stone.
He can tell a story, and that's not easy to do when you have a single figure. He has a remarkable ability to convey a sense of that person and what their story is or what they're about. And there's a dignity to his figures that I find quite remarkable.
There's a saying that art is spirit made visible, and you definitely see that in Oreland's work. Some artists are very proficient and even masterful in their technique, but you don't really get a sense of spirit in their work, but that's totally existent in Oreland's work.
Any really good artist puts themselves into their work, and their own personality comes into their work, their own heart, their own feelings, and that's all evident in Oreland's work.
Sculpturing is one way of seeing the world. It's different from seeing it flat. It's something that you can hold, it's something you can feel, it's something you can see, and you can see every detail of what it looks like.
He sees beauty above, below you, around you, and he takes that beauty that he has and with a talent that he has is creating in his mind and in his hands, in his spirit. He makes this beautiful art.
When I think about my talent, still credit goes to the Creator. So half of my preparation from that direction of respect for my culture, respect for human beings, for life, for all that is around me. And that's part of what motivates me, what Oreland Joe is I like to say that I have a one-on-one relationship with the Creator on a daily basis.
Oreland is a very, very well-established sculptor, and he's certainly not a novice or a beginner. He's a real pro.
One thing you have to say about Oreland's work is it's all about quality. Whether you're talking about the quality of the material or the quality of execution, it's just beautiful, beautiful choices in materials, beautiful rendition of the subjects, and he takes a lot of that from the study of those classic Roman and Greek sculptors as well as the masters of European sculpture.
You can't just have a Native American influence, you've got to have a world influence, because the world is art. It just doesn't concentrate on one area or one theme or one culture. It has a lot of different avenues, a lot of different perspectives. An artist has to be competitive today. He's got to have the overall look, and look into the big picture. Fortunately, as a youth, I began to look at that, and I pursued trips to Italy, France, and over to Japan, and it differs me. It makes me a little more unique than the average, and I'm quite proud of that, because I learned things that are almost reverse or contrary to the American way of belief, approach, you might say, is probably the best word. The mentality of carving stone is totally different in Europe versus America.
Oreland's development, some of his realistic work and then some that is more highly stylized. I think that Oreland seems to be doing more of the stylized work that's more design into the work, not quite so academic, perhaps more in the direction that Alan Hauser took.
The interesting thing about Oreland's work is that he worked really hard not to be influenced by Alan Hauser. And in fact, he told me a story about in the 80s when the book on Alan Hauser came out, he just wouldn't buy the book because he didn't want to be influenced too much by Alan's work. And so, you know, it was years that had gone by before he'd actually purchased the book. But you still see, despite that intent of not having an influence, there's still, as I say, very strong correlations. They both have a great understanding of the human figure, of its anatomy, and they portray the figure very well in terms of proportion and the understanding of the movement and the flow of the body. And each of them has a unique way of being able to deal extremely representationally in a very detailed manner with the human figure, and yet also being able to distill those forms to their very essence so that they have more of a spiritual quality as opposed to a very literal translation of the figure. So they're both able to work both ways, very realistic and also in a more abstracted form. And I think that's really exciting.
I'm just the hands and the servant in that way of something a dream of what people have, and I look at myself that way. You know, if a monument has to be built, it's my job to do a lot of research. So I think we have a little say as artists on how our figures should portray a certain image or time period.
I was a member of the Cowboy Artists of America for 22 years, and I really wanted to see Oreland accepted as a member into that organization, because there was no one else in the organization doing the kind of sculpture that he was doing or is doing.
The nature of the Cowboy Artists of America is very, very unique. This is our 44th year in existence, and the group has probably never been more than 26, 27 members, and yet it literally sparked what I consider a Western cultural revolution.
And Oreland fit into the same category that I did. You know, he wasn't a cowboy, but he was certainly of the West, and more so than anyone else in the organization.
The part that makes Oreland Joe an interesting fit is that he is the only Native American we have in our group. And the place, of course, that he holds is extremely important to us in not just the fact that he's an Indian, but it's how it balances out what it is we all do. He brings a certain sensitivity to the group, too. He's a very spiritual individual, and of course we're all very spiritual, but from a different cultural point of view, there's an openness to Oreland's spirituality that I think we all appreciate.
He's the only Native American and only sculptor in the United States to have 3 gold medals, and that's with the Prix de West, the Cowboy Artist, and the Gene Autry Show.
It's healthy, you know, for us as artists to win awards and to keep that momentum going of saying that, you know, I have a place. Actually, I feel like I do have a place in the art world, that I carve a section out and to promote stone sculpture, because if you really look at these major shows, less than 5% are stone carvers. Sometimes I'm the only stone carver. So in a way, I'm promoting stone sculpture and creating an awareness of along an art that has been used for many, many years by many different cultures.
She said she had a dream of me standing by a crystal river. Why do we pray on mountains? Is it because I feel strong with you? Hey, hey.
I see art as a challenge. I've done monuments, pat myself on the back, but I still say what is next, what is down the road. So I think the more media you explore, it only adds to whatever is selling for you.
I hold on to her touch, hey, hey. Turquoise way we dream, sacred stone between us. Turquoise way sings to you like gentle rain. Hey, hey.
Recently, I've ventured out into music. I used to play rhythm guitar for a band way back in the late 70s, and he remember we have a lot of music out there, but it's not uplifting. You know, the world is a hard place to live. Sometimes we need to have good, healthy music to listen to. So in my songs, I've written up to now probably about 24 songs, and most of them have to do with nature, have to do with people, happiness, write about courtships, write about children, you know, write about our land, our people, things that we see.
His songwritings are, if you hear his songs, you can actually, if you close your eyes, that spirit will take you over and beyond, and you're like soaring with the eagles in the mountains, and you can hear the water, you can feel what we have in this world, and that's another special talent that Oreland has.
I got involved in a movie in the year 2006 in the springtime. I got a call from Travis Hamilton asking me if I'd be interested in creating or supervising an actor in the movie, how to carve, basically teaching the actor Deshava how to, or Harry Bahi, to make it look like he was really carving the stone.
It was an honor to work with Oreland Joe on this project, because he came down with his apprentice and spent the day with us, and he brought with him knowledge and you know, techniques, and he brought his tools, and basically he just seen him use him, an actual master, using his tools and his techniques. It really gave me an insight into the character and made me refine Harry Bahi's craft a lot more. And when you look on screen, you see it, and it shows because of Oreland. That part of Harry Bahi, you know, the rock sculpting side, is Oreland Joe.
Before you knew it, I had the lead actress, Natasha, doing a sitting for me at the Gallup Cultural Center. So I spent 2 days there having her sit, prepared the clay, got her image in clay, the hair, the face, just a bust of her head. And being on the set over and over, you know, it was pretty exciting.
Rain, hey, hey.
Things are meant to be at a certain time, and if you're prepared, you have the tools, you have the ability to have that patience. It all comes together, and when it comes together, it's full strength. It's 100%. All your energy is there, and it's not a halfway job. You know, it's so these two projects, the film and my music, fortunately collaborated, and it was just perfect timing.
One of the things that Oreland does, he loves his mission statement is giving back to the youth. He loves working with the Native American students from special ed all the way up through high school and through college now. He has a lot of kids that he mentors. Through his artwork, he's helped a lot of children become something that they didn't have enough self-esteem in them or believing in themselves, that he's taken them basically by the hand under his arm and has showed them the beauty of what we have here in our world that we live in today.
There's kids out there that don't have the opportunities or are less fortunate, and it's up to the seasoned artists to go back and help these younger ones.
I want to be a prayer warrior.
We as professional artists and mentors are encouraged to turn around. You know, we have a busy life and a living to make, but it's also important to turn around and give that information and plant a seed in the lives of children. All people have talent, no matter what it is. You know, I don't think it's one above the other. It's an equal amount of blessing. watching embers chase the winter air. I close my eyes to hear the sacred healing songs. Oh Creator, make my spirit soar. I want to be a prayer warrior, to walk in the ways of my grandfather. I want to be a prayer warrior.
It's been exciting to watch his career. That has been thrilling to see the acceptance of his work and the accolades and the awards he's received over the years. When you watch a young artist emerge and develop and then become accepted and their work sells very well, it's highly sought after, and then he's respected as a person. And it's very gratifying because I could see his ability. It was quite evident from the very beginning.
If you say that you're on top of the mountain, I think you're finished. So hopefully I'm one of those that never reaches the top of the mountain. I hope to keep pursuing and seeing what the next mountain is about. Before sunrise we stand, with prayer and corn